Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I've done a little bit of exploring today. Thought you guys might want to come along. What do you say, Mike? How you doing, buddy? Thought you might want to see what happens when this camera goes close to the haunted rocks. We're getting fairly close. We got that cliff right over there. You go up by and explore that cliff a little bit if you want to. See what we can see. You doing okay today, buddy? Fall over this log right here and break my contract. Maybe. There we go. Kind of wet. I got to be careful. These old rocks are slick in the hand today. See, there's a pretty good cave up under there. Could crawl back in if you really needed to. I don't plan on crawling back in there, but somebody might. Ain't gonna be me. That goes back in there a pretty good ways. Kind of near. They might get through that if you really tried. And there's some old boards under this right here. Like somebody had attempted to make some type of structure under here at some point. I don't know. The old guy I bought this place off of told me that he pulled all kinds of arrowheads out of these caves. I don't have a clue. I've not been down here much messing around these caves. There's the haunted rocks. Right there. Yep. And for some reason this camera usually don't work around those haunted rocks. So if the picture gets kind of squirrely, I probably won't see it on my end, but for some reason, I don't know why. It don't matter if you're live, it don't matter if you're recording, but if you're running on rocks right there, you usually don't get much signal, don't get much of a picture. But we call these the haunted rocks. The story I got when I bought the property, this old guy up the road, must be close to 100. He said back when he was a kid, he said there was an old man lived here and the old man died. And they come and dressed him and carried him out. I guess to where they could get to the hearse or the whatever to bury the old fellow. So we call this the haunted rocks. I'm not sure. I know that at some point it burnt. But I'm not sure if this was the actual walls with these rocks and the roof burned off of it. I don't have a clue. I don't know. But it's been a house at one point. Right here. Does the picture look okay, Mike? We got pretty good signal, looks like, down here today. Maybe it'll work. But anyway, this is what everything looks like down in here. Real rocky. We've got a spring right here that dries up some during the summer, about maybe 2 weeks or so it dries up. It's starting to produce water. And what I'll do later on is I'll bring a leaf blower down, blow all these leaves back one day. Because this is really the only soft spot around here is right in here. And if you're going to find anything, it'll be right here track-wise, because everything else is like what you see, just rock. All that green moss you see, those are rocks. And I would assume he's had some sort of a walkway through here at one point. That's not natural. You can see there's an actual place here. And I'm assuming that he walked across that because that doesn't look natural. I don't know what the purpose of that was, but he had it all fixed up in here back in the, well, I guess probably 1930s, 1920s. And all this was going on, I guess. I don't honestly know, but as you can see, it's nothing but rock and cliff in here. Yeah, those, for some reason, most of the time when you do any kind of videotape, any kind of footage around these right here, you don't get very much signal. I've tried it several times. If it's working today, it's a miracle. It'll only be the second time I've ever got much footage out of this right here. For some reason, in this one little area right here. You can go over this way a ways, not a problem. But right there is a problem. So let's ease on down here to where I generally spend my day at. I'm a little late getting in the woods this morning. Had some things to do around home there. Get ready for Thanksgiving. So let's not go up underneath that deadfall right there. Go around the back side of that. This is rough to walk right in here because of these rocks. Every step you take is slick and dangerous. I'm going to assume that this right here is man-made as well. I would say that this right here was probably used during the Civil War. There was one of the roads that were used during the Civil War is not far from here. And I would imagine they probably had some type of little skirmish and they built this. They may have been camped here or whatever, but you can tell that's man-made. It's not natural by no stretch. Over here past this bunch of laurel is where I generally sit at all day. As you can see, it's rough right here too. But this is where I go to, right down here like this. I go back up under here and I sit right up under here. This little ledge right here. This is where I generally sit at, right here. And this is what I see pretty much all day. Is this right here. And you can see how thick that is down there. Sometimes I have my binoculars out. I'll see things moving in that thick stuff. And usually it's bigger than a deer. You know, it's the wrong color for a bear. I can kind of tell sometimes it's on two legs. Could be people walking around with brown outfits on or whatever. I don't think they are, but I've seen it several times in here. So we're going to sit here for a while. You enjoy. A little bit chilly here today. It's probably, I don't know, 38 or 39. It's kind of windy. It's supposed to get windier later. Right now we have a little bit of a breeze. It's kind of cold. It comes out of the hollow right there and it's cold. So this old rock right here keeps the rain off of you, but it don't keep the wind off of you much. I try to sit up under this about every day. Sometimes multiple hours a day. You know. Well, what I do is I set up a tripod right here and I let my camera run a lot of times. And you know, a lot of times it's not a live stream down here. I've only recently got a camera that I can depend on down here to get a live stream. The one I had before wouldn't pick up down here. Or well, actually it wasn't the camera, it was the box I had, but it wouldn't pick up down here. Today looks like it's doing pretty good. I can't see it on my end, but nobody's complaining about the video, so it must be doing okay. I may sit up there more often, let it run a little more. Can only get about 3 hours on the battery, so I have to change out the battery about every 3 hours, but whatever it takes, I can do it. Normally I sit here, my head down, I have a cover that goes over my head, and I put my hands in my pockets. I have a big beard. I put the cover around my beard where you can't see my big white beard, and I sit here. And everybody wonders why I don't talk, but you know, if I talk, like today I'm talking, he's not going to come out anywhere we can see him with me talking. It's not possible. You have to be quiet. People want to know why I don't send back text whenever you're on here texting me on the screen. Well, that's movement. He'll see that. But today we're doing this right here, so you guys can kindly understand what I'm doing down here. But I sit here all the time. You know, down at the bottom of that gully, there's a little creek down there. I guess you could probably get a drink out of that creek if you wanted to. It'd be kind of not very big a creek, maybe an inch deep, 2 inches deep most of the time. But you might get a drink out of that. But this is my little place I hang out at, right up under here. And, you know, it's pretty, not what you'd call warm up under here, but it's not so bad. Pretty cool up under here. I don't have my chair today. Normally I have a little chair that I sit on here. I didn't bring it down. It would be clanging and carrying on through the woods. I didn't bring it this morning. But the concrete, or the rock, it's kind of hard to sit on. Your butt gets numb after a while. It's pretty cold too, so I don't usually sit on it very much, but sometimes, like today, I'm sitting on it. But I have like a little, I guess you'd call it a stadium seat that I put up under here. It's kind of padded and sits flat. Alright, well, let's watch for Bigfoot. come from that direction right there. Probably a deer, but who knows? That is an awkward position to hold my camera in, so I'm not going to watch along that way. I'll go back over here again. Rest my arm from it on my knee. But it's our deer season here. You're not able to see anything running through the woods. Hunters are everywhere. I've not heard any shots back in here, but that don't mean you're not back here hunting. It's been in since Monday here, gun season. And I heard the first shot, so I don't think anybody's back in here hunting. I've not seen any four-wheelers go by, anything like that, so I don't think they are anyway. But I sit up under this. I have a camouflage scarf that I put over my head. I put my head down, my eyes are down, and I leave a little opening for my eyes, but they're down. I actually leave an opening for one eye. The other side's covered up, but I always look down at the ground. You know, nature of an animal is to look for eyes. It's kind of like when you see a Volkswagen car. What do? You see two eyes and a mouth. Same thing with an animal. When he sees that shape, two eyes and a mouth, he recognizes it as human, as danger. So I cover up one eye, and I keep the one eye I do have open, pointed at the ground. That way you don't see my eyes, my face. I know way. And if I hear noise, I'll raise my face up just a little bit where I can see out of the corner of my eye or out of the top of my eye. And I'm hoping that's enough. You know, I can't afford these fancy ghillie suits or whatever they call them. Can't afford nothing like that. I just got a BDU jacket that I wear, a pair of camouflage breeches I wear, and that will cover over my head. And maybe someday I can buy a little better equipment, but right now YouTube's not paying enough to make it worth my time to try to do something like that. So, hi Shay. Thank you for the gift. Appreciate you very much. People like you help the channel survive. You know, I don't have a whole lot to work with here. YouTube, you know, I get 120, 130,000 views a day on average. And, you know, they're not paying me $4 a day at this point in time. Very little bit. You know, $4 a day from daylight till dark is not much money. You know, that's what I do. I had hoped to get some sponsors on here, some of the bigger companies or whatever. Maybe send me some camouflage or some better cameras. You know, but so far nothing like that's happened. I've had close to 3 million views in the last little while, and I guess that's not near enough, so I don't know. It's a whole lot of people as far as I'm concerned, but you know, there's people that watch this all day long. You know, Mike Gray, he watches this all day. I would bet my life Mike's on right now watching this or the other. I have a second one set up too. He's on one of the two of them. And there's Gator. She watches quite a bit. Curtis watches quite a bit. You know, Denise, she watches quite a bit. You know, this provides a lot of entertainment for some people. I'm glad to be able to share that with you guys. This is what I do for my entertainment. You know, I'm an old fellow and I ain't got much else going on, so I come out in the woods and hang out, find Bigfoot. I had a close encounter with him a few years back. I was out in the woods one day back here, and I could hear movement, like I heard movement over there a minute ago. I heard movement. It was cracking limbs, and there was a bunch of blackberry bushes, and it was in those blackberry bushes. You can't see very far in a blackberry bush. I figured it was a bear, and so I sat down beside this little tree really easy and wait for this bear to come out. And he'd come all the way down this mountain. I could hear it moving its way down the mountain. Could never see it. Could never see it. It came down there to where I was at. Stopped. Could see the blackberry bushes moving. Could hear him eating them. Knew what he was doing. Knew I was just sure it was a bear, but I couldn't see it. And probably 20 minutes went by, me sitting here watching the bushes move, looking. And my phone rang. Well, I don't know why I didn't have my phone out ready to take a picture. It was just a bear. I wasn't super crazy about taking a picture of it. But my phone was in my pocket and it rang. When it rang, I never took my eyes off the spot. And all of a sudden, he was there. He didn't stand up, he just appeared. And he ran back up the side of the mountain just as fast as he could run. And I think there were two of them because there was a tree knock involved in that too. I don't think he had time to grab a stick and smack a tree. He was busy moving. But he ran through blackberry bushes as fast as, and they didn't slow him at all. He was running just as fast as he could through the blackberry bushes. Not sure if you guys know what blackberry bushes are, but they're real thorny. And it's all you can do to walk through them with a pair of heavy pants on, much less run through them. Never seen his face. All I could see was the back of something big and brown. You know, I'm 230 pounds, 5'10", and I was a midget compared to this thing. It was huge. And I don't know, I've heard it before, and I can tell you the same thing I've heard before. Once you see Bigfoot, once you have your experience, that's all you want to do is go see Bigfoot again. That's all you want to do. It's an addiction, is one way to put it. You know, and I have a job. I work early mornings. I get home around 7:30. I get home depending on the traffic. And I start a live camera and I come down in here. Like I said, I don't generally stream from down in here because I don't have this far away from the cabin. I don't have power down this far. And normally I don't have any signal, but I have rearranged some things around and got signal. You know, you can only get about 3 hours off of a battery charge. And you know, it's kind of aggravating to shut down and change out the battery and restart. You lose all the people that are watching and they have to find you again, and it's just a hassle. And the other cameras I set up on top of the ridge out here, I have 2 power cables run to them. And I'll run one in a while and run the other one in a while. And I started pulling one cable up out of the woods to move down a little farther and do some different things. And I don't know if I'm going to make it this year or not, but maybe. But there are about 1,000, 2,000 foot of cable in the woods that runs all this junk. So, but anyway, let's sit here and watch a little longer, and then I'm going to get up and walk some. You know, one reason I live stream all this is because you have a lot of fake in the world. People put on suits and run through the air, and there's ways of, you know, editing things. And AI, you never know what's going to happen with AI these days. It all looks pretty real. So, as soon as I say this word, this goes right into YouTube to their server. There's no way I can edit this. This is off live stream. There's no way to edit this. So that's one way of storing it where nobody can get to it, is to go straight to YouTube with it. I do some videos, but usually I don't do many videos like this right here. I do a lot of live stream. Like I said, you take a videotape of it, or it's not really videotape anymore. You take footage where it can be corrupted. There's always that way people can say, "Oh, you edited that, you done this, you done that." But on a live stream, there's no way. So we do a live stream. If he shows up, by golly, we got proof. Put all the naysayers down, can't we? But that's the worst thing about doing anything like this live. When you talk to these people, you get a lot of crazies on here and they want to down you. I had a guy a minute ago tell me there's no such thing as Bigfoot. Well, there might not be. I saw something. It wasn't human. Could have been an alien. I don't know what it was. But for lack of a better word, I saw Bigfoot. You can't prove that there's no Bigfoot. Same as I can't prove there is one. I'm trying to prove it is. You try to prove there's not, you know. But they don't do that. They just sit behind their computers, on their telephones, whatever, and watch me and express their opinions. And the vast majority of them have been out in the woods 3 times in their lifetime, but they know all about Bigfoot because they watch all these other channels that tell you this and that and the other. Go out in the woods and scream and, you know, knock on trees and whatever. Well, explain something to you about screaming for Bigfoot. Bigfoot calls. Okay, you think about this for a second. Apparently that's his language. All right? I don't understand his language. It'd be like me trying to speak to somebody in Japanese. I don't understand Japanese. What am I saying to these people? You know? Well, same thing with Bigfoot. What am I saying to him? If I yell and scream like he does, what am I saying? You know, am I inviting him over to have lunch, or am I inviting him over to cut my throat? You never know what what you're saying, you know? So I don't yell for Bigfoot. I don't know. I didn't hear any kind of calls when he was there. I heard some grunts, sound kind of like a bear to me, but it wasn't a bear that I saw. So, but these guys get out and they run through the woods and they yell and they scream and they smack on trees with sticks and holler and carry on. And my personal opinion of it is it's going to scare Bigfoot away. That's my personal opinion. You know, I know today I'm talking and he's not. Of course, the wind is blowing into our face. He probably can't hear us as good as he normally could. But, you know, that anything more than a couple 100 yards, you're not going to see Bigfoot. I always look way out far anyway. I don't look up close. That's the whole problem. When I see it so far out in there, you really can't capture it on video, on your camera. But normally I don't talk like this. Most of the time I sit here all day long, and once in a while I'll get on, look and see who's on the other camera and say hi to them. But for the most part, I don't say a word. You know, I eat my lunch. I have bacon and sausage a lot of time for lunch down here, and I eat my lunch, and that's about the only movement I have during the day is that. Sometimes my cat comes and follows me. Sometimes my dog follows me. I left my dog at home today because just didn't need him to hear bounce around while I'm doing this. So, but anybody else have a Bigfoot experience they want to share? I'd be more than happy to read it. Well, I say we get up and move a little bit. And for anybody that just showed up on the camera here on the live stream, there's where I was sitting at. Pick up one of these rocks right here. This little cliff right here. Nice dry place on a rainy day. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate you. I didn't catch the name very quickly, but I appreciate you. I am Potation. Thank you. Thank you for the floating heart. I appreciate you. Nice little hidey hole, huh? Nice place to hide from whatever comes along. I would imagine many Indians slip up on that little shelter right there over the years, is my opinion of it. Alright, let's make our way out this way here. Can't watch the camera much. I gotta really watch what I'm doing on these rocks. Sticks and rocks are wet and they are slick. And I don't need a broken bone, so. This is remains of some old kind of road they've had in here at one point. They let a bunch of rock out. Made some type of road into here. Like I said, there were some trails through here and some roads that the Civil War soldiers used. I wouldn't think that they would have done this work, but they may have been using this if it was a wagon road at some point. Don't have a clue. It was a long time ago, though. Yeah, Rebecca, I'm out here by myself. Mike didn't want to go today. He's too busy home with Mama. He could have came, but he didn't want to. I do this every day by myself. I'm not a very likable person, so this is my better place. Yep. I'm an old man with a big old bushy beard. Look like Santa Claus. Nobody seems to like me very much. But that's cool. Just kind of hang out in the woods anyway. Yeah, there's Mike. Mike likes me alright though. He's getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner. I know what Mike's doing. He's in there doing dishes so Mama will cook. Got something to eat. I know what he's doing. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing for Thanksgiving this year. Me and my lady pretty much split up, so I ain't sure exactly what I'm going to be doing. But probably going to take tomorrow off and let Bigfoot have tomorrow off. I may go try to find some type of a restaurant or a shelter somewhere that has some food. I read that there was a couple of shelters in the area giving away free food. I guess I can give a donation. That'll probably feed me. Yeah, well, if you're a little closer, Rebecca, I'd invite you over for dinner, but I ain't sure that you're that close. Oh. Hey, a turkey breast is better than a hamburger from McDonald's, buddy. The size of this rock right here, guys. That thing is huge. Check out this tree right here. It's grown up around this rock. It's been against that rock its entire life. It's kind of shaped to the rock now. Check that out. That's cool. Where am I located? I'm located in southern Appalachian mountains. I don't ever tell anybody what state I'm in or anything like that. That's just inviting some crazy person to try to shoot me for chasing Bigfoot. You'd be surprised how many crazy people threaten me over this right here. I ain't bothering nobody. This all belongs to me. You know, I'm not trespassing anybody else's property. In Kentucky, well, you're still a pretty good ways from me. You wouldn't have a very good time. I'm a grouchy old feller. Yeah, we hear all kinds of whoops and screams and tree knocks and everything else out here. Not today, obviously, because I'm out here making noise, but usually. Hi, Randy. Doing some construction work down on the airport not too far from here, and they got a lot of noise today. The wind's blowing from that direction. A lot of noise out today. Hey Mike, let's get us a machine back here and load this big rock up and take it to your house, and you can use it as a landscape. That'd be one heck of a picnic table, wouldn't it? It's about 20 foot long and about 15 foot wide, looks like. Yeah, we can do that. We can get it to your house. It might take us a day or two. We can get her there, though. Yeah, you need to have somebody with you, Candace, because you never know what's going to happen. And like I said before, I have nobody here with me. It's just me out here by myself all the time. But that's the way it goes. I mean, I'm not scared. Yep, I'm chasing Bigfoot. I'm not really chasing him. I'm just looking for him, but that don't make a very good title. Joe looking for Bigfoot. Starting to rain again. I have to head back to my rock, hide under it. I don't know about awesome, Candace, but I have a good time. You know, my lady, when we were together, you know, I worked the same place she worked at, and you know, she was gone all the time. After I come home, she worked till 2 or 3 in the evening, and maybe this hanging in the woods what broke us up. I don't know. Something did. It ain't looking real good for our relationship, to be honest with you. So, yep, it's an obsession, trust me. I really like this. And I'm not sure when I'm going to see Bigfoot. It could be any minute. You never know. But one thing is for sure, if you're sitting at home and not watching this feed, you're not going to see Bigfoot. That's for sure. Because he ain't going to knock on your door and say, here I am. Ain't going to work out that way for you. If you want to see Bigfoot, you got to hit the woods. You know, that's as simple as it is. You got to go in the woods to see Bigfoot. Yep, I agree, Candace. People don't like it, they don't have to watch. Yeah, but you know, at my age, it's not just about the losing her, you know, Candace, I'm losing my home. At 62 years old, I'm starting over. I don't have any way of moving my stuff that I have into another location. I have, you know, this home's been my home for a while, and I've got all kinds of stuff. There's no way I can move all that into a rental. I'm losing everything. And that's the hard part, it's just starting over. The losing her hurts, but I think the losing everything else is part of the hurt too, you know? Even losing my dogs. I got no way taking my dog with me. So, I'm glad you had a good 10 years, Candace. I've had a good 20 years with her. But here, a few weeks back, she came back to the house one day. She said she wasn't happy anymore. And I don't know what I done, but apparently I didn't make her happy somehow. But she's got a nice warm cabin to live in, and, you know, I guess I done my job for her. I gave her a place to stay and took care of her best I could, but don't make life no easier. No, I'm not going to coexist with her. Not going to be like that. I'm leaving, and that's just how it is. I started a new job on Monday. Well, I guess Monday. This coming week, someday I got to start a new job, and I'll be driving for FedEx. And I'm moving on. Like I said, me and her both work at the same place. She was actually my boss. I mean, she hired me. We were together for umpteen years before she hired me, but she was my boss. And so how do you go to work with that, you know? So we had to get a new job as well. But it happened. Wind's starting to pick up. Somebody said the cam quality is bad, Mike. Is it that bad? I can't tell, but it looks good from my end. I can't tell from here. There's no way for me to tell. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'm down in the middle of the woods someplace. There's not much signal down here. It's not fake. I'm out looking for Bigfoot. I do this every day. There's 2,000 videos on my channel. You know, I'm not doing this to be some kind of a scam artist or whatever. I put a lot of time into this. You know, and if you don't like it, then all I can tell you is look for another channel. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get off here. Nice talking to y'all. Bye.